It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 191. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I am your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Before we get into the movie discussion tonight, let us go around and meet the fellow bros. We begin with our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, it's back to school season, so a little turn back the clock here. Back when you were litigating the middle school lunchroom, what were a few of the hard and fast rules you try to tell your peers they should follow if they wanted to avoid you suing them?
Well, for me, it was really about just being able to get out of the locker. Because, all my good friends, all my really good friends,
Oh, God.
they would just mess with me and they'd put me in the locker. It was so funny because that's how we would just be. So I would be like, hey, man, I'm going to sue you if you don't let me out of here. They were so cool. They loved me. It was awesome. I had such a great middle school experience.
God. Well,
Best
I'm
friends.
glad you remember it that way. I'm sure you keep in really close touch with all those guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
You were one of them. You loved putting me in a locker.
Yeah. No, I know. I definitely didn't do it for peer pressure, social clout, or anything like that. So, speaking of back to school, our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. Now, Geiger, you've always said that elementary school is a lot like prison, right? On the first day, you have to
Exactly like prison is what I say.
Oh, my fault. Not a lot like, exactly like. First day, you have to beat the shit out of the biggest guy to establish yourself as the alpha. So, how did you actually go about doing that back when you were younger?
When I was younger, I'd actually beat the shit out of the biggest kid in school. Nowadays, you just got to find the kid with the AR-15, and then you are set for the whole school year.
Jesus
No one will fuck with you. Kick his ass or her ass.
That's a good episode, guys.
My God, yeah, we didn't even make it past the intros. We're signing off. All right, well, if you have not listened to the Bro 4 Squad before, we start every episode with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chess day. Our chess day today, I'm actually going to turn over to the enforcer, Matt Geiger, as he has a special game related to baseball movies. So, Matt, why don't you take it away, introduce the rules, because Cycli and I, like any good game show contestant, have no idea what we're getting ourselves into.
Thank you, Jeff. So we can put it on the screen right now. You're looking at every single current Major League Baseball team with their logos. So what we're doing is, I would say, and I think I'm correct, that baseball movies dominate the sports world for sure. There's more baseball movies than there is basketball, football, hockey, probably everything combined.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. We are going to pick baseball movies that the star or co-star has an affiliation with the team, a la On the Team, or affiliated with the team in any vicinity. Towel boy, towel girl. So round one, Jeff and Ronnie will get 3 picks, 3 strikes, if you will, and they can pick any Major League Baseball team on this graph that you'll see on the screen. And they will name a movie that Major League Baseball team, that star or co-star was affiliated with that team. In round 2, I'm going to pick what teams are left, and they will have to say if there is a movie, a baseball movie with the star or co-star being part of that team. Give a yes or no answer. If it's a no answer and they're correct, they get 1 point. If there is a yes answer and they give the movie, they get 2 points. And if it is a no and it's incorrect, I will give a chance to steal.
Can I just preface this with saying I'm going against the biggest baseball fan, not just on the pod, maybe in the world.
You can't
man
say
who
that
watches
to set me up. Now.
162 games a year of his team. I'm just saying.
actually-
But that has nothing to do with baseball movies.
It's on, like,
He's a movie buff and a baseball. Like, he's
Okay.
literally watching baseball right now. This
first
is
team is
bullshit.
20 games under 500, but I'll still probably lose. And obviously, Scout's Honor, we're not going to Google anything here. This is just, we're out here.
I don't even know how you'd Google this. I mean, this
Maybe
is
just
kind
like
of
a
a hard
list
thing
of
to
baseball
Google.
movies, I guess, which obviously we won't do.
There's too many.
could.
But to note, but the thing is, I mean, can I just say, I'll say some out loud. I can't say Fever Pitch, right? Because Jimmy Fallon's not associated with he's just a fan.
I mean, he definitely thinks he is.
Right.
That's
So
one
that's what's interesting.
When we got to, I would have to kind of get the room. That was the only one I had that was
But-
kind of
That's
Yeah.
when you said affiliated with the team, literally as a tout, like he is just.
Well, there's a great
fan.
line in the
just
movie
a
where
fan.
where he tells his girlfriend Drew Barrymore, like, yeah, we go to Red Sox spring training every year to decide which players the Red Sox should keep and who they should cut. She goes, and do they ask your opinion?
Nope.
And he goes, well, not yet.
See, in this, we're talking to a baseball fan, and as a soccer fan in me, I'd be like, hey, did you know Fever Pitch is an actual about soccer? So, that's where I'm going to lose this
that's
battle.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah,
so
it literally is a soccer book.
Ronnie, we'll start with you. Pick any team. Any team that you just pick the easiest one.
Okay, I'm going to go Angels in the outfield.
Okay.
Los Angeles Angels.
So Ronnie is up 2-0, and Angels is off the board.
Okay.
Jeff.
So I just pick any other team, right? It doesn't have to be like affiliated with the Angel. It's not like a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon where I have to like connect it to the Angels in any way.
No. So now the Angels are off.
All right, and we said the star or the co-star is affiliated with the team,
Star
right?
is affiliated or on the team. Wait,
Okay.
say that again.
The star or the co-star, excuse me, is affiliated with or on the team,
Yes.
right? Okay, well, I mean, we'll just take all the low-hanging fruit, then I'll go Major League with the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
Shit.
We're off to a good start. 2-2. Ronnie.
All right, Moneyball.
Yep.
Oakland Athletics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
All
did
right, I'm just nervous because I'm like, I don't know these like
Right,
little
that was
rules
a-
in between.
That was a I'm Ron Burgundy question, but yeah, 4-2. Ronnie. Back to Jeff.
All right, and now it like.
I don't know if I've mentioned this one in my top 100 yet, but we got to go for love of the game, right? Billy Chappell with the Detroit Tigers.
Detroit Tigers. Okay, they're off the board.
How cool of a framing device is it to tell, like, to plot the movie and it's just a perfect game is happening, and in between each inning there's a flashback.
He's leaving some meat on the bone for you because that's probably like a second, third level cut. That one.
He's just being nice because he's.
I'm really not. For me, that's like maybe my second.
Yeah,
favorite.
Give to charity. Come on. No one else on the pod does that.
Okay, Cycly, last round until we go, or last turn each.
Honestly, like, if he hadn't gone that direction, I don't think I have an answer. So I'm going to go Chicago Cubs, Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Thank God.
Henry
That's like
Roethlisberger.
as far as I could have gone.
Okay, Jeff.
Man, I'm trying to think how deep cut I want to go here.
He's just toying with me. It's
No, I'm not.
disgusting.
Well,
How
he can get
deep
some
cut
points
I wanna
though in
go.
the next round because if Cycly answers no, he gets a point. When we go down the rest of the teams.
Oh,
Oof.
that's true. Interesting. And we're not doing sequels, I'm assuming, right?
Well, I
Didn't
mean
say
the Indians are done, so you can't just keep.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
guess that's true.
What about the Guardians?
They don't have a
Electric
movie.
It's a
Boogaloo.
different time. It's a different time.
Different time, yeah.
I'll just go with my team. I'll go W and the Texas Rangers.
Ooh.
Cool. All right. So it is tied up. And I'll start top left, and we'll start with Cycly. Is there any movie about the Tampa Bay Devil Rays where the star or co-star is affiliated or on the team?
Wow. What a team to start.
Just hearing
I'm gonna say
Devil
no.
Rays take me
I'm going to
back.
say no.
Wait. Sorry. Did I say Devil Rays or Diamondbacks?
Devil Rays. No,
Devil
you got to do
Rays.
Devil Rays now. Stick with it, please.
That is false. Jeff, do you want to steal?
Yes, the Rookie with Dennis Quaid, right?
Okay.
Shit. This is where I'm going to lose it bad.
And it also has who's our guy from the Jesse from the
Guys,
first
I
episode?
thought as a lawyer he meant Diamondbacks. That's the one I was talking about. This is bullshit.
See, this is now where
Okay,
I'm at a disadvantage.
I'm going to kind of go up to the top, and I'm not going to go completely in order. Jeff, Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta Braves. If I say yes, I have to name the movie.
You have
right?
to name the movie.
Okay, then I'm going to say no.
That
I
is
don't feel
false.
confident in that. Yeah.
Ronnie,
Can I just say yes?
I'll let you.
Yes.
See, whatever.
Well, it's
fine.
obvious if it's not. If I'm-
Well, yeah, you didn't get
No,
it.
it's
That's your
not
problem.
no. Could it be?
Yeah, it's not
yes?
no, dude. That's your fault. You could have said yes.
What,
You know
what if Matt was like also wrong?
I would accept 2 on this for the
Braves,
Atlanta
hold on.
Braves. I'd
Give
accept
me-
2.
I feel like this is an obvious one, and I'm just.
I know. That's what I feel like too.
It's
like,
not that there's one that is like a great baseball movie, but it's not that obvious. I had to look it up, and there's another one that just recently kind of came out.
I don't know. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay, yes. I can't give you the point though, but it is what the fuck's it called?
Trouble with the Curve.
Trouble with the Curve.
Wow.
Clint Eastwood is a
He's
scout
for the Braves. Yeah.
And I would accept Bull Durham because they were affiliate for the Braves,
Right.
and Duke Lelouch got called up because the Devil Rays were not a team in the 80s.
Correct. Damn. I'm just thinking about this wrong. Yeah, because I wouldn't have got Trouble with the Curve till you actually kind of gave me a hint.
Cycly.
What's the score?
Arizona Diamondbacks.
You don't need to know the score. You're going to win by a lot. Okay.
I think it's like tied.
Oh my god. I'm just saying. You're sick. That's all.
Arizona Diamondbacks. Is there any movie where the star co-star?
No.
Yes, that's a point. Good job.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Jeff, Seattle Mariners.
Based on the criteria that we have here, I'll say no.
True.
Okay.
Cycly, St. Louis Cardinals.
This is going to be embarrassing because this is my team. There's definitely a movie with the fucking Cardinals in it. I just don't know what it would be. It's yes, but I don't know what.
Oh, you're wrong.
Wow.
One of the most iconic franchises in baseball doesn't have a movie.
That's probably because it costs a lot of money to do that. Jeff, Baltimore Orioles.
The Baltimore Orioles.
It's kind of Venice's favorite team.
It's kind of wild we don't have a Cal Ripken movie. I'm gonna say no.
True.
Nice.
I did Tigers. Cycly, Minnesota Twins.
I'm gonna say no.
You don't want to steal that?
Yes, Little Big League, baby.
Really?
Hey, Bill Haywood must be allowed
Like,
to
fuck.
It's like one of the biggest ones left, probably.
Because if Cycly has a specialty on this pod, it's kids participating in professional sports.
I know that's.
He did Big coach.
League. Wow. It's a good one.
So he didn't necessarily participate. Kansas City Royals.
True.
You say yes or no?
Is this me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll say no.
True. Cycly, Milwaukee Brewers. You almost have to say no to all of them.
I know that's like my one thing. Like I'm just like I have to say no, but isn't is this dumb? Is it? I can't remember the stupid ass movie. I can't remember if he played for the fucking Brewers. Was it Mr. 3000?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Holy shit.
It was so stupid. That's the only reason.
Sorry for me. And then pulls Mr. 3000 out of his
Bernie Mac, come on.
I actually don't mind that movie.
No, Matt's like a closet fan. He's like
I'm not. It's just such a random ass like. What? It's only one of those movies that in the early 2000s or late 90s could have worked.
I enjoyed it.
Matt's banner moment.
The baseball scenes weren't terrible. Like I watched Trouble with the Curve the other night, and I'll get to this in Protein Shake. But God, the baseball scenes are just awful.
But yeah. I just think like really think about like that movie, like Joanna, man, all those movies that came out.
A's. Oh yeah. Sorry. What was that?
Houston.
You're cutting out.
Houston
a little bit.
Astros, Jeff. Sorry, Houston Astros.
Houston Astros. No.
True. And Jeff's up by like 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cycly.
Give him 3 points for Mr. 3000.
LA Dodgers. I'll just tell you, there's a movie.
I was gonna say yes.
I know what it is too.
You're gonna have it.
You know this movie, Cycly.
I'm sure I know. The thing is on the top. The problem with these movies off the top of my feet, like I know there is a movie.
Don't even
Do
think
not
of
overthink
90% of the movie. Just think of the ending.
Do not overthink it.
I'm not. Nothing's coming to me.
Jeff.
The Sandlot.
Oh,
Both
that is
star
Benny
and
the Jet.
co-star affiliated with the team as announcer and player who steals home.
Although,
that is
Matt, you and I have talked about this. I'm pretty sure Benny the Jet was like about to be DFA'd. He's just a pinch runner, fifth outfielder.
On the team.
I'm gonna
No, they
put
said
an
he lost to
asterisk
step
next to
two,
that
so-
one. I
Does
wasn't
he get a
even
fucking
contest-
ring?
He probably was good at one time. I don't
The
know.
problem is I immediately at the beginning of this game put that movie out of my mind because I'm like, oh, there's no one affiliated.
Yeah.
I forgot about the ending.
We're just playing for pride now. There's no way Cyclo will win. I want to see if Jeff can get this one. Phillies. Because there is one.
Oh, God.
And you got to think it's just like Sandlot. Don't even watch the first 98% of the movie.
Hmm.
Oh, my God. Summer Catch.
Yes.
Yeah. Griffey
Never
takes
even heard
Freddie
of that
Prinze,
movie.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel.
You would like Summer Catch.
You would love Summer Catch.
Cyclo.
Never even heard of it.
It's a
Matthew
90s
Lillard.
senior bot with Freddie Prinze Jr. and that his friend that was in him with Scooby-Doo and Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard.
It's-
Is it Wilmer Valderrama in it, too?
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard, damn.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I enjoy it.
There's a lot of names right there in the last 10 seconds I haven't heard in a very long time.
And Fred Willard, rest in peace, plays. Is he the scout or Freddie Prinze Jr.'s dad?
He's the dad. The
Right.
scout is
Dr.
the guy
Cox.
from Scrubs.
I don't know that actor's name, but he's awesome.
Cycly, Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm going to say no for the points.
Jeff, that's incorrect.
All right, so we don't have a Roberto Clemente movie, which is again weird. Like that screams biopic.
There's actually not many biopic. I mean, but the Brooklyn Dodgers aren't even in existence anymore.
Right. The Pirates.
I've never seen this movie. I had to read about the plot just to get it.
I'm trying to think what that movie is where John Hamm goes to India to scout.
Yeah, I'll give you that. $1 Million Arm. That's what
Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I don't get no. I should,
Are you seeing what I'm dealing with, folks?
Okay.
This is some
Cycly,
bullshit.
New York Yankees.
No.
Yes.
Of course, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, it's the Yankees. Oh, yeah, I got it. Babe Ruth, the Babe Ruth story.
I'd accept like 4. There's Babe Ruth. There's Bang the Drum Slowly, Robert De Niro. There's 61.
Give it to me just for the sake of competition. I
I'll
said
give you
kind
Yeah,
of a
Babe
Babe
Ruth.
Ruth biopic.
Yeah. The Babe Ruth story.
John Goodman plays Babe Ruth. I think there's a Gehrig movie too. I'd have to look. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a-
Jeff, your Texas Rangers.
Mm.
I mean, I already said W. Does that count?
Sorry, skip that. You did say that. My bad. Jeff, Washington Nationals.
Trick question, Montreal
Right.
Expos.
So with the
Oh,
Senate,
Or Expos. I don't care.
I was gonna say, is there a Ted Williams Senators movie? I'm gonna say no.
No.
God,
Cycly Blue Jays.
fuck no, Canada, no one cares.
Jeff, San Francisco Giants.
Yes, The Fan.
Yes. God, that is a deep cut in a
I
very
mean-
disturbing film.
That movie is fucked up.
It's very,
Disturbed, is that what you said?
very disturbing.
You need help.
He reminds me of one of our friends who's Jeff's brother-in-law, kind of. Like he
Sorry, no, I know who you're
Me too.
talking about, so that's
All right. Cycly Florida Marlins.
no.
Cycly Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, the Black Sox scandal.
Yeah, that's
Movie.
fine. 8 men out, or I'd accept Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I was gonna say feel like honestly I thought about that. I was like technically they call
co-star.
them the Blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just and
okay.
it bothers me that Ray Liotta's in both of them, but that's fine.
Pick a lane. Dude.
Rest in
Jeff,
peace.
to end it, even though you already won, Colorado Rockies.
I love the reference of how you pronounce that.
Have you seen the Jeopardy when she says that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, right?
Yeah.
And what's the
Colorado
answer? Like,
Rockies?
isn't
Like,
the answer
no.
like Magic Johnson?
It's something about Marcus Allen or so. I can't even remember what it is, but yeah.
It's like the only.
Who did Marcus Allen play for? That was the answer.
She's like, well, I know one sports team, so shot in the dark. No, I don't think there's a Rockies movie.
No, there's not. That is it.
Wow.
Gentlemen, did this test your baseball?
I'm a fan. I just wish it had been a sport I knew a little better, but it was great.
I'm sure there's like a ton of different ways we can set up this game with other topics.
So literally, dude, I created this game. Like, I did not Google. Sometimes you just Google and they give you all the lists. I personally thought of 80% of these movies, and the other 10% I just like looked up.
No, I love this game.
That's great. Do we have a name
have missed
for
one.
it?
I feel like there's a Cincinnati Reds one, but I just can't think of it.
But it's what's cool about the game. I mean, I will say, I don't think I would have helped me that much more, but the fact that you narrowed it down to the main character has to be affiliated, because there's a bunch of other movies with baseball teams. Like I was thinking the New York Mets and all these other teams.
Well, that make major they're not appearances on the team, but they are very much affiliated with the team.
Yeah, no. Oh, I'm just talking. When you first brought up the subject, I was sitting there going, "Oh, the Mets are on this," or like. But then your clarification that made it even extra hard, which I liked.
Right, because we could have done TV where the Boston Red Sox, like Sam Malone from Cheers, used to play for the Red Sox, so we could have done
and that's why I thought of
Fever Pitch. Yeah,
Fever Pitch. Yeah, that's why immediately.
If someone would have named the Red Sox, I might have just given it to them, just because I'm like, man. I mean, that movie I kind of totally forgot about, but
that's the difference, because there are so many like baseball. And your point was, baseball has probably the most movies compared to other sports combined.
Right.
And so if you expanded it to that scope, I mean, it's crazy how much there really is out there.
Most of them are older. I will give you that.
Yeah, it has slowed down in the last
and everyone
10 years.
gives shit to baseball for not marketing enough, but in film, I'll have to object to that, because in a lot of football movies, any given Sunday, they're like fake teams. Any baseball movie I ever see, they're like real teams with real uniforms and everything.
Yeah, MLB, as bad as they are on social media, they actually do a pretty good job of like licensing their brand out to movies.
But it's not just movies. I mean, think about when we all played Little League. I was a St. Louis Cardinal.
Yeah,
and I
wore
wore
the
jersey.
Yeah.
I wore the full uniform. That is not like anything in any other sport.
Now, my coach might have just stolen the logo and used it, probably.
What are they going to do?
I'm so glad Jeff got summer catch on the Phillies.
Are you even surprised? Look behind him. He's literally watching a Rangers game right now, and there's
but
a
he's
Rangers
not watching
logo
summer
behind
catch.
him.
I mean, that's such a deep
well, that's due up
movie.
next.
Yeah.
It's
in the
funny
queue.
Griffey takes him way out of the ballpark at the end of the sketch.
Bull Durham's one I had to look up, because I'm like, dude, the Durham Bulls could not been affiliate for the Devil Rays then. They weren't even a fucking team, and they were affiliate for the Braves at the time. So,
and I think I was going to say some of these teams might never get a movie, because now I feel like the rate with which Hollywood is churning out these sports movies has insanely declined.
Well, and we
talked about
picks like docu-picks and stuff, and like Cal Ripken, but we don't get that much in baseball. We've gotten Jackie, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Babe Ruth way back in the 90s. That movie is awful, though.
There was an episode that Jeff, you and I talked about how 90s 2000s there were so many sport related films.
Didn't we decide it ended with down? Like Mike? Like that was like the end.
At least the kid related ones, yeah.
That was the Batman and Robin of the sports movies. It's really like, okay, we've gone too far.
But it killed an entire like subgenre of movies.
It's not just the kids sports movies. I mean, like in general, we do not get as many sports movies.
It's a damn shame. And the ones we do get are kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. These 8-year-olds, they don't know what it's like to go to the movie theater and see someone their own age somehow dominate in a professional sport against adults.
Now that we're older than the average age of these leagues, can we watch a movie where someone our age goes back and beats these guys too? Because we need to be represented.
Yeah, the guy who like needs icy hot after he fucking goes bowling with his friends.
Yeah. We need the Bill Murray and Space Jam representation. That's what we need.
Yeah, because he's like, you got some skills. Like, no, actually, I've played for 15 minutes. I need 4 weeks off. Matt, do you have any idea on like a title for this game, just so I can put in the description of the episode? Or
I guess just I don't know. Let me think
You
about
can,
it.
yeah, you can work on it. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. Good shit, man. Thanks for doing that. All right, the second part of our show is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. Cycly, I don't know if you have access to my list, or you too, Matt. We might have some overlap here, but I don't know. I'll just say off the top, I have 4 things I want to talk about, not counting this because I'm not going to mention it, except that there's a commentary out for it, and that is Nate Thurman and I watched the Jon Favreau movie Chef on
Oh, nice.
Netflix, maybe? And we did a movie commentary on it, which is now out. So if you like food at all, which most people do, go check that out with us.
Matt does. Everyone knows Matt does.
I love food.
I eat food almost every
Too
day.
much, some people say, like Jeff's mom, but
And like your physician.
it's fine. And yeah, and every doctor I've been to.
He's a fucking quack, though. It's a chef. Go check that out. All right, we'll just go round robin. Matt, do you want to go first? What have you seen lately? What's in your cup?
I'll just kick it off. They had this on for 24 fucking hours, so I bit and watched it. I like the film. It's Grease. Olivia Newton-John died. I think it's comment below if you want to see us do it. I think we could have some fun with this for sure. I like this film. I do not like musicals. Obviously, I don't think most men that watch baseball and scratch themselves and drink beer will raise their hand and say they enjoy musicals. But this one is just something different. I don't know why. I believe that all of us probably watched this in school.
Isn't it
like
kind of
music class?
a parody of musicals a little bit?
Yeah, but the music is cool. And usually in musicals, there's no alpha male. But in this, Kanicki's badass, and so is Travolta. So
is the
I
song
really like
Grease
this
Lightning from Grease?
What's that?
Grease Lightning, go.
Mhm.
Is that from
Grease Lightning, Summer Nights, the
good.
Tell me
songs.
more. Tell me more.
I love them. I love them all.
Does he have a car?
Olivia Newton-John is so fucking hot in this.
Guys, fucking musical episode of the Broforce Squad. Oh my god.
Where we just sing the whole time? Because I don't sing everything I do.
It's crazy how, like, if Travolta dies someday, he probably will. I mean, he's not Jesus.
No, he's a Scientologist. He's not going
Scientologist,
anywhere. He's
okay.
fine.
Good.
Well, everyone else's family's died, but maybe he won't. But what movie would we play? I don't know. He's got a ton of them, right? But Olivia
Face Off.
Newton-John,
God, we got to do Face Off.
yeah, just play Face Off for 48 hours. Tribute.
The world.
But Olivia Newton-John, like, I only know her from Grease. They're like, oh, Xanadu, and I mean, I know she was big in like the 70s and 80s. I think she kind of kicked off the step aerobics shit, but I wasn't alive then. But Grease was like the only thing I really knew her from. And it is fucking awesome that they, played that for 24 hours for her. And she was fucking phenomenal in that role. Every time I see something like this, I'm like, man, they should remake it. But Hollywood just fucks up so much. I think they could have some fun remaking this, but the thing is, I don't know what they do different. That's the problem. Is you can't just Lion King it and just do word for word, song for song, the whole fucking bit. So,
and you'd still want it to be a period piece, right? You wouldn't want like a contemporary version of Grease.
That's what
they tried that with Footloose.
I
and it
bet
was
they
terrible.
would do. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they don't give a shit if it's terrible. People are going to pay money, and that's all they care about.
I mean, of course, I'd be there opening weekend. Don't get me wrong.
We'd be there just like greasers. Sandy.
Just have my. That's what's great is that this is once again we need to do a commentary on this, but set in California and everyone has like a Stromboli last name and just like sounds like they're from Yonkers, but that's fine.
And everyone has a motorcycle, but they're working on it. It's like not ready to be rode yet.
It's way cooler to work on.
I'm fixing it. Jesus.
A lot of high school problems, though. Of course, teenage pregnancy, breaking up, taking the sluttiest chick to the dance. I mean, guilty. Done that before. So, great film.
Isn't there like an ambiguous ending, like that some people think they're dead or they die at some point?
Well, they fly off into space, so I guess you can take that.
Well, that seems pretty straightforward.
This is a pretty grounded movie, other than just breaking out into song in the middle of the street. But then they just fly off into space. But there's a lot of bad stuff that obviously Kanicki. I don't know if any of you've seen him on Celebrity Rehab. He's dead now. The bad guy in this died of AIDS. There's a lot of like dark side to Grease, almost like a teenage sitcom where they're all
It's
just.
not like it's a 10-year-old movie. I mean, it is an old film. We're not like.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he
Everything
died
you
of
just
AIDS,
said
like,
would have been much
80s.
worse if this was 10 years ago.
Like none of these guys really made it out. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of a
Sorry
story about Kanicki saying that him and Travolta were friends, and he woke up one morning and Travolta was blowing him, and everyone he says everyone knew that him and Kelly Preston,
Yeah.
their marriage was just for show, and Travolta's gay. Which,
Oh yeah,
I've heard that from a lot of sources.
I've heard this story before, and honestly, who hasn't ever woken up with John Travolta blowing them?
yeah.
It's weird if you haven't had that experience.
Yeah, I bet it's like a Zoolander moment. The reporter after the guy says that, the reporter goes, "And?"
Yeah.
It sucks though, like when you think about those, like, so you're telling me a guy in Saturday Night Fever, Urban Cowboy, and sung in a musical is gay? Like, no, I don't believe it.
Not on this planet.
You're like
Yeah.
every girl who's fallen for a gay guy. Like, no, there's no way. Like,
It's
sorry,
like in Clueless. Good film though. I enjoy
Great.
Grease.
Yeah.
No problems with it.
I would love to do a commentary on Grease, although it does kind of suck with musicals when like you can't hear it while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
We should do more musicals.
Maybe we can sing along like me and Banner did. All the Disney movies.
That's right. All right, Cycly, what have you seen?
So I'll start with, I just completed a rewatch of maybe the greatest television show of all time, Breaking Bad.
Wow.
I haven't revisited Breaking Bad in probably 5-6 years. I'm pretty sure it might have been my first or second rewatch at most since it went off the air.
Is it on Netflix currently?
It is on Netflix.
Which I think they're actually losing it soon.
Oh, really?
Like within
That's
the next
kind of
month.
weird because I will say Netflix is kind of behind the reason why Breaking Bad found the success that it did.
Well, it's not of their own.
It's
desire.
not. You're right.
It's a licensing deal.
You know, absolutely. But I wondered if there would be some like good grace to work with Netflix just because they're. So you could, I mean, we could talk about that. Like Breaking Bad. So what I'll first say is Breaking Bad. I don't think anyone had the idea when Breaking Bad first went on the air that it was going to be what it was. You know, you have a show that's Bryan Cranston, who I mean, obviously is an amazing actor, but at the time we really knew from Malcolm in the Middle.
He was
and
just
really
a comedic actor to me.
Yeah,
Like, he
he's a
was on
comedic actor.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of things, but nothing you would like write home about. So I think there was like a subject matter of like, hey, a poor public school teacher has cancer, is running out of money, and is desperate to give his family money. So he decides to make meth because he knows chemistry. The show, I think, inherently started out slow. I think one of the reasons why it became what it was, and that's why people give credit to Netflix, since we kind of entered that conversation, is it was really Netflix that kept Breaking Bad on the air. AMC, which what Breaking Bad was coming on over and over with every season, it didn't have amazing ratings until like season 3. And it came onto Netflix around that time. And I didn't come into Breaking Bad until I believe I started it in the season 5. So I started in the last season when it came out live. Yeah. So I jumped in very late. And
you just caught up by the time it ended, basically?
Yes. Yeah. I purposely was like, oh, hey, cool. The last season is starting in a month. So watch the whole episode. And each season first season's like 7 episodes, and all the seasons after are 13. So it really doesn't take too much time. They're 40 minutes long. And I remember being like, you know what? Everyone keeps talking about this is one of the greatest shows of all time, blah, blah, blah. You watch the first season, you watch the second season, you're like, okay, it's really good. I get why people like it. But once you hit that third season, it's one of the rare shows. I've talked about Lost on this show. And I know anyone listening who's watched Breaking Bad, this is one show that just keeps getting better. That like literally it's at its weakest in season 1, where so many shows start off with a bang and end with a whimper. This is the opposite. And AMC was begging Breaking Bad at the end to stay on the air. And they were like, no. Vince Gilligan was like, we have a story to tell, and this is what is going to happen.
I have so much respect for that. Ending on your own terms.
Yeah, and it's
what's the line
because
in
of
The Dark
that.
Knight? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself.
Yep.
Become lost.
And the difference between Lost, Breaking Bad, and Game of Thrones specifically. Breaking Bad is the show that went out on top considerably now because of that. Game of Thrones stayed on the air. Lost stayed on the air. Breaking Bad.
Would you
went
put
off the air.
Dexter in the same boat as Lost in Game of Thrones?
100%. Dexter could have ended on top, didn't. So what I was going to say is what I respect about it, though, is they created El Camino, which was like a sequel movie that just finished a story of a certain character. I don't want to get
That
into
didn't
spoilers.
get good reviews, though, did it? I mean, Better Call Saul is lauded, obviously, but
yeah, that's the thing I was about to say. El Camino is nothing more than it's supposed to be. It's just a singular movie about a character after the fact. So, like, I think it was fine. I wouldn't say it's anything incredible, but if you want to know how the story like finishes for a certain character, then it's great. Like, but it doesn't need to be anything more than that. But my point was, because they ended Breaking Bad, he still went and did El Camino and Better Call Saul, which I'll be honest, I haven't watched. And I'm hearing it just ended.
It just ended yesterday, right?
And I'm hearing people say it's not a spin-off of Breaking Bad. It might be just as good, if not better. So I'm about to start Better Call Saul because I'm so excited about the reviews it's gotten. But anyway, the whole point kind of was just Breaking Bad is standalone one of the greatest one of the greatest thrillers of all time in terms of TV cinema.
I will have to watch it. I have watched the pilot episode.
I've never watched it just because the premise of it, I guess, just doesn't interest me.
It's fair. It's.
I mean, I like that's Blow, but like drug movies has to be like, I guess, more kind of Goodfellas-ish for me to get into, I guess.
It's what I would say is like Breaking Bad. You like the writing and acting is absolutely incredible. It is a slow burn to start, but it's one of those because think about the context of the subject. You don't just inherently get into the drug game, right? Like that's
right.
So if you take it from that context where you're going through a process of a guy who is genuinely clean and boring and just suburban American white male to develop into what he becomes is a slow process. And then as it just like goes faster and faster and faster and faster. So like you have to be a little patient when you start watching it.
Do you feel that Ozarks kind of stole that aspect of it? Because that sounds like Ozarks.
It absolutely did. Yeah. And no disrespect to Ozark as someone who's watched most of Ozark.
No, it's fine. I mean,
there's a formula that
steal shit from other musicians sometimes.
There's a respect.
They don't
it's why The Simpsons
like
is copied. Why Seinfeld is copied. Why any great thing is copied. Like Breaking Bad found a formula, outside of the chemistry joke, that works. It's relatable. It's like, oh wow, I can see myself doing desperate things for my family. Right? Like we're all good people. He's doing something bad for a good reason. Right? Like that's a human value.
I have two really quick questions as someone who's never really seen Breaking Bad. Is Saul Goodman, like, how major of a character in that show is he?
He's not introduced. He's maybe mildly introduced in season 2, like for a second, and he becomes a more major character starting in season 3.
Okay. So then is his show, obviously not knowing how anything ends, is his show a prequel?
Yes. From what I understand, it's a prequel and it kind of joins at the end.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's you maybe have heard me mention this on the pod where I say, you don't want a criminal attorney. You want a criminal attorney. That is a reference to Saul Goodman.
I like it.
So yeah, that's Breaking Bad. If you want to go watch a show that takes a little patience, but is genuinely like prime TV, go watch Breaking Bad. You will never regret it.
I'm interested. All right, I guess I'm up. I watched The Gray Man on Netflix. Any of you guys seen this?
I have, no. Yeah.
I don't have Netflix anymore. I had to make a decision.
Oh, that's right. Matt's called Netflix. He was like, look, I'm lose my number.
I can get 3 of you for one of what I'm paying.
I know. We should have a whole episode where we just shit on Netflix at some point because the price versus value is getting a little tough. But The Gray Man, directed by the Russo brothers, who of course did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and they bring back Chris Evans with Ryan Gosling. Billy Bob Thornton's pretty awesome in this. Ana de Armas, Jessica Henwick, and the dude from Bridgerton. So what did you think of The Gray Man Cycling?
I mean, I won't get into this is your story, so I will just say that it was fine. I don't think it was anything incredible. I think it tried to be like a John Wick-esque action film with like it's not just action, but it has action with meaning. I think they lost some of that meaning for me, and so it was enjoyable. It just didn't hold much substance.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I really liked the action set pieces, but I think it's wild to me how much I loved some characters and performances and hated others. Like
Yeah.
Chris Evans, I thought was just really miscast, and he tried to come across as like the man. I'm just chewing the scenery, and I'm this really eccentric villain, and it was like almost cringeworthy to me.
I didn't buy it at all. Like not for a second. It just
I know.
yeah. I'm with
It was
you.
rough. And then the guy, I'm not even gonna look up his name, but the dude from Bridgerton was really bad as like the one note CIA guy who's like angry that no one's listening to him or whatever. Loved Gosling. Ana de Armas was kind of wasted, and I really love Jessica Henwick, who's the agent who has to like go monitor Chris Evans' character as he's like breaking all the rules.
The story broke down to me a couple times. Like all of a sudden one character's in Berlin and then all of a sudden she's in like Austria and then all of a sudden she's back in Germany. I'm like, look, these places aren't far from each other, but they're not like an
A
hour
cafe
from
next
each other.
door. Yeah.
Like she literally was in, I can't remember specifically, but like in one scene she's in Berlin. She's like, and I realize that they are in Vienna. And then all of a sudden he appears in Vienna. I'm like, did 8 hours just pass? Because unless she flew, and that still would take 3 hours.
Last thing I'll say, it is a fun watch. I would, if you like action movies, I would recommend it. Billy Bob Thornton, though, he's played two characters his whole career. He's played Sling Blade, and he's played this guy in every other movie. But I dug it, man.
Is this guy like the drunken, like almost Charlie Harper from 2.5 Men?
He's more like his character in like Armageddon.
Yeah.
Okay, because Bad News Bears character, I've seen him in like Angry Santa.
Okay,
like,
then I guess he's played three characters. You're
Yeah.
right, because that's who he plays.
But they're
in
not that
Batman.
different.
They're kind of. He's great. I mean, I love him in everything, but he's doesn't have range. Is not why you hire Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, Geiger, he's retired or retiring.
He'll never
and he
come
has
back.
contacts, and it's like he's just like, man, I want to be out, but I'm still in.
Geiger's like, I could write this literally with like my toes and a crayon.
Yeah, I like literally when Jeff describes a movie to me, I'm like, I got it. Like literally, I've already seen it in my head before I've seen it.
Jeff, did you see how much Netflix spent for this movie?
I'm scared.
Was it
180?
worth it? That's my question to you.
How much was it? How much did they spend on it?
It was in I don't know off the top of my head, but it was like in the hundreds of millions. It was like insane.
I guess, I mean, I would say I don't understand the revenue model, but it's 200 million. Oh my God.
It was 200 million?
That's what Google says.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It was
Especially after
stupid.
Geiger canceled, they're fucked. That's not worth it. Although I will say this, they left. I don't want to like spoil anything in the movie, but there is a character who is mentioned a lot in this movie, never seen. And if they do make a sequel, I would be interested for them to show up.
Dude, if Thanos comes in, I just don't see it. But I mean, good for them if they do it.
I pretty much they've laid all the breadcrumbs out for that. All right, I only have two more things I'm going to talk about, but Geiger, I'll let you go next. I'm going to run.
I'll just talk about both mine shortly. I work from home today, so most of my time was spent putting this game together we just played. So I did rent off YouTube The Fan, and I also watched Trouble with the Curve. The Fan, my God, very disturbing. Did you all know, first off, Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes, and Benicio del Toro in this in 1996, and it debuted on the USA Network?
Okay, first of all, by just the cast and the director, I'm like, what?
I mean, and Hans Zimmer did the fucking music. Like, I mean, this is
No.
I would say an Any Given Sunday baseball movie. Jeff, would you agree with that? I know you haven't seen it in a while. It's darker. It's darker than Any Given Sunday is fun, kind of. This isn't a very fun movie.
Is it? I mean, based on the cast and the just fucking Hans Zimmer, is it? That sounds like it should be amazing.
So Cycling, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, for those of you that haven't seen it, Robert De Niro, it's set in the San Francisco Bay Area, which doesn't make sense. This should be set in New York, but oh well. And he's a big Giants fan. and he's a traveling salesman, and he has some issues. Let's say like he loves this player, Bobby Rayburn, who's played by Wesley Snipes, and he gets traded from the Braves, and he's a California kid. He gets traded to the Giants, who's De Niro's favorite team, and De Niro starts like calling in sports talk radio, like, "Oh, he's the savior. I'm glad we're paying him so much," and he starts stalking him.
Gets a little obsessive, yeah.
Steals his kid.
He picked him up from school one day.
The other thing he fucking does, Benicio del Toro plays center field, but so does Bobby Rayburn. So they moved Benicio del Toro to right field, but he has Bobby Rayburn's favorite number 11. So Rayburn says, "This is why I can't hit. I don't have number 11." So De Niro asks Benicio del Toro nicely, like, "Hey, give him number 11," and he doesn't. So he stabs him with a knife and kills him. So then every jersey has number 11 nicely, on it.
Matt. What else?
So every jersey has number 11 on it, and De Niro keeps talking about how he played like, high level baseball, just never made it to the majors. And he always talks about this player that he played with. And later you meet that player when he steals his kid, and you realize that they just played Little League together. Like this is such a dark and disturbing movie. Like, I can't believe that these actors signed on for it, because with this acting crew and a baseball movie set in San Francisco, which is where Full House was set, they went to San Francisco games. I mean, this should be a box office movie, but it's so dark and disturbing that it had to be on the USA Network, which goes back to my first point. Why did Wesley Snipes in '96 and De Niro sign on for this? Like, what were the agents thinking?
I did not know it was a USA movie. I will say this without spoiling it. The end scene, Robert De Niro's character finds himself in a situation where there is absolutely no fucking way he would end up in that place.
No.
But it's awesome.
And there's a lot.
Yeah, so are you guys selling this to me or not? Should I watch it?
I just want your opinion on it.
I want you to watch it. I mean, it's something, I don't think we could do a commentary on this. Like, we could make it funny for a while, but it's just so fucking dark. I don't know if we can do this or not. But it's like he steals his kid and then tells Wesley Snipes, "If you hit a home run, I won't kill your kid." And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is so like disturbing, and it's a really hard movie to watch. At first, I kind of like it because Wesley Snipes plays like, the 90s African-American baseball player, like a Barry Bonds, which Barry Bonds is mentioned in this, which is weird because Bobby Rayburn and Benicio del Toro's character are supposed to be the best player on the Giants, but apparently Barry Bonds is on this team too. So you're telling me he's the third best player?
Outfield, right?
In the outfield?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. So the other movie I watch is Trouble with the Curve. And Jeff, have you seen this?
I've got through like the first third of it.
Okay. I thought you'd really like it just because it's old school scout, Clint Eastwood that has, seen so many ball players around and knows what he's looking for.
I'm not a big Justin Timberlake guy, though.
I know you're not, but
BSB
take him out of it. Plus, Matthew Lillard's in this movie. He's like the new level guy that never goes to games. He just uses a computer to pick everyone. So very Nolan Ryan versus John Daniels for you.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I thought you kind of liked this film. The baseball in this is absolutely awful. Like, the kid that they're scouting just looks like a chubby kid. Like, he doesn't look like a prospect at all. Like, you couldn't get a kid juiced up on roids and pay him like, $800.
How much cheaper was the chubby kid is what I want to ask.
Yeah. And Amy Adams in this, great in this as well. Timberlake's scene, though, you probably didn't see the scene where he tells the sad story about like, yeah, I had my shot, went to the Red Sox, blew out my arm, and now I'm here, and, you should feel sorry for me and blow me, which is the story I always tell at the bar.
Yeah.
But
it's effective.
It's a pretty good movie.
Did Eastwood direct it also?
Probably. I mean, he's old as shit in it, so he only does movies he directs now.
That's true. I'll give it another shot. Is it streaming on anything?
I just taped it off MLB Network.
They do play good movies, actually.
They do. They have all the baseball movies. And I think Scott Eastwood is in it as one of his prospects.
Really?
I believe so.
The only actor maybe worse than Justin Timberlake, Scott Eastwood.
Timberlake has his place. I loved him in Bad Teacher. That's what he needs to do.
I actually liked him in Social Network because
Yeah,
As,
Social
like,
Network and bad, but like he needs to be a complete douche.
We say we
Go
should
watch
compliment
an
half the
obscure
rules.
movie called Southland Tales
Is
with
that
The
where
Rock.
he kidnaps Anton Yelkin?
I liked him
don't
in
know.
Alpha Dog too.
That's what I was thinking of, Alpha Dog.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there's a movie with The Rock
What?
and Justin Timberlake and
There's
like
a
Sarah
movie
Michelle
with The
Gellar.
Rock in it.
Go look up the cast of Southland Tales. Southland Tales.
I'm still like in yarn ties.
Yeah,
There's a
we'll go
movie
back.
with
We
The
can
Rock
add that
in
title.
it.
Yes, The
Sean
Rock
William
and
Scott,
Justin.
Mandy Moore.
Yep. This is the weirdest cast list you've ever seen.
I love how this is on the Roku channel also.
Do you think they all use the Iron Paradise, The Rock's traveling gym that he has, like with like big ass trucks that set up?
If anyone out there is listening, have you ever heard of the Southland Tales? Please go. Just
I mean,
Google
this
it.
plot we have to do a commentary.
I don't even think that movie exists, but I'm interested.
Oh
I
God!
want to watch
Just
it.
look at the cast list and look at the plot.
Somehow they got this cast in 2007 with a budget of $374,000.
It was because the creator was Donnie Darko.
Oh, really?
It was the creator of Donnie Darko, and it was like his second movie. So they were like, because Donnie Darko is such a. We'll get into that later. Sorry, I did not mean to distract.
Sci-fi comedy, like unintentional, or is it supposed to be funny?
No, I don't think it is supposed to be funny.
Okay, well, joke's on you, Southland Tales.
Sorry to interrupt.
All right, Matt,
I mean,
is that all
that's
you
just,
watched?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Psycho, how about you?
To just be quick, I'll say I have a couple others, but nothing. Watched Lightyear for the first time.
Did you turn gay because that 2-second kiss?
How gay was it? Because everyone's saying it's
actually-
really gay.
It was so gay. I went gay,
Yeah.
went back to being straight, and
Oh,
gay
wow.
again.
Gay again, yeah.
And now I don't even know.
What's beyond that?
I don't know what's beyond multiple changes of gayness. You know what? I'll just say this. First of all, anyone who complains about the gay scene is it's just
second and a
that's it's not even like I mean like I literally was like wait really like I wouldn't even have noticed.
I could care less, but I didn't understand why everyone was up in arms about that. But like at the end of Thor, like two characters turned out to be gay, but no one says anything about
I just think people need to have a voice right now. Whether you're like, I'm like, wait, really? You feel like you need to comment on that? Like in any normal situation, that wouldn't even have been a thing. But that's besides the point. That movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I have
only
theaters.
yeah, I remember that. I only watched it because it finally came out for free on Disney. I said this when I heard about it being made. I won't say it's a bad movie. I just don't understand the point.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed it. I don't think anyone asked for it.
And the main plot device too, I feel like is just so overplayed these days.
Absolutely. I don't know if I mean, who cares about spoiling at this point, right? Like, so Buzz, like, yeah, like
gay.
the whole time, Buzz is gay.
Well, yeah. That's the
Everyone
main
is
point
gay.
of the movie, yeah.
Where everyone is gay in all. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I just felt like
That's how the Broforce Squad's gonna end one day. We're all just gay the whole time.
we're all gay. We've all been gay.
See you later.
Someone's like, I called it
Spoilers.
episode 4.
Like, everyone's like, you know what? You guys didn't hide it well.
Matt, there's
Actually,
It's like the guy from the South Park World of Warcraft with the wrist guard on his mouse. He's like, I knew it.
it's like, yeah, dude, we basically told you.
Psycho,
Yeah, I won't get.
You can finish, but then I had a question about Lightyear.
No, please ask. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, when I watched it, I was thinking, like, you know what would be a cooler version of this? The Western about the Roundup gang with Woody.
That would be. I don't know. I felt like that would have been much cooler too.
Like,
I don't.
the real story that Sheriff Woody's based on versus the real story that Buzz Lightyear's based on.
I just think I probably would have felt the same way if that story for Woody had been made, but I felt like it would have been a little more original. Like this movie inherently, whether or not you're excited about like the expanded universe, I just don't know what it offered to anyone.
Expanded
Like-
universe.
Like it. So there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie, and it says in 1997, Toy Story came out, and a boy named Andy got a Buzz Lightyear toy. That toy was based on this movie, which he saw in theaters.
Wait, I thought it
Oh,
was
okay,
that
all right,
Andy
all
was
right.
in theater to see that movie. Maybe I
Right.
missed it.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Andy saw this movie that we watched.
Got it. Yeah.
So that makes no sense why they would get a different voice actor than Tim Allen then. It should be the same voice.
Well, no, Tim Allen, I guess, was the character of that toy versus this is the movie's characters.
But like if you
Okay.
press the button on him, it's Tim Allen's voice.
Sure.
You want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
All right.
they didn't pay enough for that, I guess. But anyway, yeah, my whole point was it was fine. I just did society gain anything
Do we need it?
from
Were
this
we
movie?
better leaving the theater than we were coming
And
in?
I think like a movie like this, like the critical reception was pretty bad. Now, granted, there was like a whole other argument, like you said, people were saying it was too woke and stuff, but kind of hurt the Pixar brand a little bit, I think.
Yeah, Pixar's always. I mean, about one of the worst Pixar movies, right? Like the
some of
Cars,
the Cars sequels.
Cars, like all the ones where they're not being themselves and being original.
Yeah.
And when you feel like probably Disney's coming into their office and telling them what to do.
Probably.
So again, nothing bad about it. It wasn't a terrible movie, but I just like I ended and I was like, okay.
I'm trying to see if I nominated it for I hope I didn't, the Are You Kidding Me award, which is the Brosker for the best kids movie. Although it's been a pretty weak year for kids movies, I do have to say.
I mean, just the Buzz Lightyear fault, like ending up being the bad guy at the same time while being the good guy. Like,
Oh, we'll just spoil the whole fucking thing. Jesus.
I mean,
Christ. We just
If
lost
you-
one listener.
I didn't give anything away. It's just his personality. He's struggling internally.
I did nominate it for it,
himself.
but Chippendale Rescue Rangers is going to win that award easily this year.
That's such a good movie.
Doesn't even really matter. All right, anything else, Ronnie?
I mean, yeah, a couple things, but it's not nothing to. I can always bring those back. Nothing important.
It's a place if you want to talk about it, but if not, I'm not going to force you.
It's all right. Nah.
I'll talk about these last two really quick. Saw the movie Prey on Hulu. Have you guys heard the buzz about this thing?
I've heard you're not the only person that I've heard it's good.
Things.
Dude, Banner and I were texting before the pod. He fucking loved it. I fucking love it. It's the second best movie of the year behind Top Gun Maverick.
Everyone who's seen it, I will say, has loved it.
I nominated it for Bros Best Picture. I'm like, don't really care about the Predator franchise. This fucking blew my mind, dude. It was Matt. I think you would really, really like it.
It's on Netflix?
Hulu.
Oh, good.
Do you have Hulu?
I mean, I pay for Spotify, so I get Hulu for free. I don't get the whole package. I'll check.
I watched it with ads on Hulu, so.
Okay.
It's basically like the very first trip Predator made to Earth, and it was during like French colonization of North America. And it's Predator like killing a bunch of French trappers and this Native American tribe. It's pretty fucking sick. And it makes me, and Ben and I were talking about this, like other historical eras that it would be cool to watch the Predator just like show up in and start fucking murdering people. Like,
yeah.
What about him fighting like samurai or like
Nazis?
That'd be cool.
I mean,
Like
that's
Tom Cruise could take him. It's cool.
But more so than that, like there's more character development in. I was telling Banner like there's more character development in this Predator movie than in like the previous 7 all added up.
Or like Sparta or Troy or something.
Or like medieval like England
like Game of Thrones shit.
Be fucking sick.
I want William Wallace, Tom Cruise, and the Samurai. Like just get the generic greats of each era.
Yeah.
Take them on.
I fucking loved Prey. I was like blown away by it. I think I gave it it cracked my top 150, I think.
Cool. Huh?
Last thing I watched, and there's really not much to say here without spoiling it, and Cycling and I will have to have a longer conversation whenever he does watch it, but I saw the A24 movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies in theaters, which has, I don't know, Cycling, what would you say the buzz is about this? Is it positive? Is it more just like, it's intriguing, you need to go see it?
I mean, I'm intrigued. I wanted to see it last week, and we just didn't have the time, so I'll probably see it this weekend. But the review, like, okay, I'll say this because I haven't seen it. I've seen 2 trailers for this, and the 2 trailers cannot be more vastly different. I don't know of a movie I've ever seen 2 trailers that are so make it seem like 2 different movies.
Yeah.
One was inherently just like Gen Z pun after pun comedy. And the other trailer is thriller horror with a slash of comedy, like Scream-esque, right? Like Scream is a comedy, but with horror elements.
Right.
And that's what the second trailer made me really intrigued. And then I saw the reviews. And the reviews have been incredible.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
excited
I
for
probably
what
liked
you
it
said.
less than a lot of the glowing reviews, but I definitely liked it. And it's definitely an interesting ending where I kind of got up and I was like, okay, cool. It's definitely something you can talk about. And think
Without
about.
spoiling it, like what would you say you liked about it versus like, or what can you say?
I think this is kind of hard to elaborate on without spoiling it, but I think it does two things. Number one, it has a message and a point that it makes very well without being preachy. And I actually agree a lot with its message and its point. And then number two, the ending to it and where it ends up taking the movie and the twist is very effortless and low rent in the sense of like, it's not this crazy concept that you really have to like wrap your head around. It's clever, but not in a way that is really risky, I feel like. Like, it's going to work for most people.
I've heard the movie, like one of the compliments in a weird way is that it's like even better with a group of friends.
I definitely can see that.
Okay.
So, of course, I saw it by myself, like a fucking loser.
Well, you and I would be the same way. Like, I don't know who I'm going to see it with, but like, I've heard it's a very like it's just like kind of universal. It's like it's kind of it works with so many elements and so many different people.
Yeah. So that's really all I can say. Bodies, bodies, bodies. Check it out. I'm sure Cycling and I will talk about it soon on pod. All right, everybody done?
I guess.
I mean, if you do you want another?
Sure, do one more. No?
I don't know if he's dead. Is he alive? Someone poke him with a stick.
Me? I don't have
yeah.
one. Oh, I thought
No.
you were talking
I
cycling.
thought Cycling had one more. I was, but fuck it. Banner's not here to do the
That's what
bird
I thought.
noise. But we end every episode with our Do You Even Lift Bruh segment, which is our question and answer segment that we depart the show with, where we pose a question, answer it, and let you think about it at home. And today we are continuing, as you can see the link in the description of this episode, our countdown of our top 100 movies of all time lists. And as we pick up today, we're at about the mid-60s point for each of us. Each going to count down a couple in our list. Before we get to that, Geiger, how would you describe our top 100 movie list? Because as we always say, it's not the AFI's top 100 or
It's
like
not your top 100 movie list. And if you want to do one, feel free. Go ahead. Send them to us. Post it. You know, we could retweet it on Twitter. This is our top 100 movie list. So it might be a stoner movie, followed by Citizen Kane, followed by fucking Biodome. It's something
For example,
that means
Geiger-
something to us.
Geiger had American History X at 68 and then Mean Girls at 67.
Right. It's movies that mean
There you
something to us that we either, you know, just really enjoy watching, that came out at a time of our lives that really, you know, maybe changed the scope on how we viewed certain things.
Mhm.
It's just a movie that you hold close to your heart, and we're giving you 100 of them.
And to let you know like how unique each of these lists are, again, another like great back-to-back. Cycling had Apocalypto at 70, and then the 1991 animated Beauty and the Beast at 69. How many movie lists do you see those films
Would like
back-to-back?
Siskel and Ebert just like rip out their hair if they had any left, just like hearing this list?
I can't believe you had American History X so low, though.
This is not
No, I'm just-
cinema.
That is what they'd be saying. All right, Cycling, let's pick up with you.
Oh shit.
You last did your number 67 film of all time, which was Interstellar, and you're just one
Yeah.
behind Geiger and I. So what is one film ahead of Interstellar on your list? Which
It-
I know you're a bit of a
it-
Nolan head, so that's pretty... I'm a little bit surprised it's that low, but also I guess it depends on what all you have ahead of it.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Interstellar surprised me at 67. So, but if you want to hear that, I went into detail in that last episode. But I'm going to go with my number 66, 1976 Rocky.
Nice.
And it's, I mean, Sylvester Stallone writing, acting. I don't think this is a movie that, I mean, obviously all of us on the pod weren't alive for when it came out, right? Like this is kind of like a Star Wars of sports movies. But the difference is in this movie, what I'll say, compared to any sports movie I've ever seen, guys, let's be honest, this isn't a sports movie. This is a character piece.
Yeah, it's true.
I think when I've watched this film, I'm not saying I remember watching this film as a kid, but when I really sat down to watch it, I think maybe in college and post-college, and actually pay attention to what was happening, boxing is not the main part of the story. And this is a character piece. This is a character drama. This is a family-focused protagonist dealing with just the ultimate shit. And the rest of the Rocky movies and the Creed movies are boxing movies with character development outside of that. This movie is different. And if you think you've seen Rocky or you think you know this movie, I implore you to go back to 1976 and watch this movie and really realize that this is not what you think at all. Boxing is what? Let's be honest, guys. 10% of this movie? Maybe?
Yeah. And watch it through the lens of this really started a lot of the tropes of the underdog sports movie. This is the first one to do a lot of the things where now you would watch the movie and be like, well, dude, that's in every movie. Yeah, but this did it first.
No.
I definitely agree with you that Rocky 2 is probably my favorite Rocky because it still has that story aspect, but there's a little more boxing. And then 3 is a pretty good movie. Then 4, and they get crazier as they go. Where like Rocky's in Russia just lifting logs, and he doesn't spar at all. I'm like, are we getting ready to fight, or are you just working out in a fucking barn? But I'll agree with the first one that literally there's not much boxing at all till the third act.
No, I mean, honestly, it's the climax of the film.
Yeah, by the time you get to the fight, you're he's already won, just being there, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I distinctly remember watching this film for the first, again, I'm not saying it was the first time I saw the film, but as someone who was mature enough to really understand what I was watching and being like, wait a second, where's the boxing? It's not that movie. And again, it's just so inherently character driven that the boxing is just part of the film. It's just part of it. That's it. That's all it is.
Matt and I did a commentary on the first one. I think we had plans to do the next one around Thanksgiving.
Did we do the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to do the second one, drop it on Thanksgiving. There's always a big, because both the fights take place on Thanksgiving, I believe, in the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember being so heartbroken and devastated in the first one when that Thanksgiving turkey gets ruined.
Right.
Sad.
I mean, she did so much work for it.
I know. I could basically smell it through the TV. Jesus. All right, Geiger. Cycling, sorry, do you have anything else you want to add about Rocky?
No, just respect for him to not win, too. So.
Yeah. Also, I mean, there's no denying absolutely iconic score.
Oh, yeah.
Even outside of Eye of the Tiger. All right, Geiger, what is your number 65 favorite movie of all time? Your number 66 was the comedy classic Billy Madison.
Yeah, I'm going comedy again. The movie 300. Man, this came out right around college. And
dude, our freshman year.
Fuck, man. Troy and Gladiator were more story-based. Hey, you'll get some fight scenes, but there's some, love in there. There's some sorrow. There's, everything like this. Some good acting. 300 is just a fucking adrenaline rush from start to finish. And it made Gerard Butler. And now Gerard Butler, I don't think has ever seen a donut that he didn't say what's up to. But, man, this movie's fucking badass. And it's definitely a movie that I'd watch on Saturdays in college, just like a hangover movie, just to be like, hey, you gotta fucking dust yourself off and go to the bar again tonight somehow. You need to eat
if
some
they
greasy.
the Persian Army, yeah, you can go back to the bar.
You need to eat some greasy food, and maybe find a beer that isn't as filling or something, and start drinking again and get back on the horse. But when this movie came out, I'm like, the only movie I could really compare it to is maybe Mad Max Fury Road, where it's just adrenaline start to finish, where it's just when you're done watching it, you feel exhausted. But I love this. The cinematography is very unique. I won't say it's
the
Zack
greatest
thing I've ever seen.
Vintage cinematography.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I enjoy it. It fits with the film, and I thought they did a fantastic job on this. I loved every fucking piece of it, and I love that Cersei from Game of Thrones is actually his wife in
Oh
this.
yeah, that's right.
Which
So-
I don't think in my first couple of years of Game
Lena
of Thrones
Headey.
watch like realized that was the same person.
Yeah,
Me either, actually. Am I crazy if I'm a big Dawn of the Dead fan, but I think this is Zack Snyder's best movie. Is that wild to say?
this is so Zack Snyder that
I like this more than Sin City.
yeah,
I
oh,
like
yeah.
it more than Cincinnati too.
But you got to understand, this is Zack Snyder. So if you're looking for, this is why him having the DC universe was just dumb. It's like, dude, he's all about adrenaline, start to finish. Like, if you're looking for like, a story to be built up where you actually care about the fight, then that's not him. Like, he's gonna give you like maybe half a scene where he's gonna set up the fight, and then the rest of the movie is gonna be about the fucking fight. Pretty much is what it is. Man, he's a very interesting director.
I really want to watch
Yeah.
this again now. I've actually seen it pretty recently, like within the last few years, and I don't even want to say it held up. It actually got a little bit better, I think.
Jeff, do you
It's-
remember? This is sounds silly, but we were in college, and what was one of the first viral videos? The PG version of 300.
If you describe it to me, it'll probably.
There's a YouTube video of the trailer, like "This is cake time."
Oh yes, God.
It's
damn it.
so stupid,
So-
but it was something like when we're in college. It was like there's a whole video of like this movie being PG and how they
I always
edited it.
remember the baby thing. Like, if the baby doesn't make weight, they just throw it out. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, give me a fucking warrior. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
bro.
We're the second person with this on their list. Thurman had it at 72.
Okay. Great film, especially if you're taking a shit in the gym before you're about to work out. Just, YouTube a couple scenes. It'll get you in the right mindset for sure.
When he says this is Sparta and kicks the Persian messenger into that pit,
It's fucking awesome.
I always watch
And they
that.
know they're gonna die, but they don't give. It's like, dude, we're gonna all die, but hey, we're gonna take a lot of friends with us.
Do you
It's
think
just-
we should wear some armor? Why? So that our six packs aren't exposed?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
90% of those were like painted on and CGI'd, but it's fine.
For making fun of Lightyear as a gay movie, I think this is the gayest of movies.
I love that we're like Lightyear's too gay, and then we just talk.
I
about
want more oiled up men with six packs.
I would needed more six packs and more oil, and then more bulge showing through their.
Also, the guy who like ruins the phalanx formation and gets all the fucking Spartans killed. We've all had to have that guy join our company slow pitch softball team.
Yeah.
He's the one who
Can we
signed.
hide him in right field? I don't know.
He's the one who
Oh,
signs
he-
us up every year. So we
Jeff and I once made him our pitcher, and that was a mistake.
true. Oh God, talk about a fucking whip that was out of control. Good one, Geiger. My number 65 is an absolute classic, and I mean, say what you want. It actually kind of made me fall in love with movies, and that's the 1981. I led off with the quote from it: "Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark."
Wow.
I mean, just like a time as a kid when you see a movie, and like I remember vividly. So this was my garage door opener at my house. This was before they had those little like motion sensors that would stop the garage door if someone walked by it. My neighbor and I would take turns. One of us would press the button to close the garage door, and the other one would run and dive roll under it, like Indiana Jones in this movie, in the very beginning when he's leaving the temple. So this movie just made me basically fall in love with adventure films. Iconic score. Harrison Ford is, I mean, legendary in it. Some incredible lines, and every time you go back and rewatch it, you're like, yeah, that's why movies exist, because Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark is fucking incredible. I don't know if you guys have this coming up on your list, so there's not much you want to say, but do you have, I'm sure, similar feelings towards this franchise?
Yeah, I have it on my list as well, and this is the only Indiana Jones movie I have on my list. I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan. I like the movies, but I'm not. It's not like The Dark Knight to me or Star Wars or anything like that. But this one is so much fun. It always reminds me of Doug.
Oh yeah,
God, I can't remember his fucking.
I can't remember his character's name either, but
the character's name, but it's just so Indiana
Doug
Jones.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Doug Funny, but he has a character
Like,
he
go.
has Quail Man, but I can't remember
And
he
he also
has
has
in
the
Indiana
secret
Jones.
agent.
He has like a Mission Impossible guy too. But yeah, man, this movie's so much fun to watch. It's definitely a summer blockbuster movie that you just got out of the pool, you just want to fucking go, eat some popcorn and watch this at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. This hits all the buttons for it for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe that I was getting. And if you guys are interested, this is on Paramount Plus. All the Indiana Joneses.
We did a commentary on this, right?
You did, yeah. I wasn't on it. I think it was you and Banner.
Okay.
Cycling, maybe you were on that too. I don't know.
Oh no. Maybe it was. I don't know.
No one
Drunk,
knows.
whatever.
No,
The fans, go listen and you tell us who was on it because we don't remember.
Leave a comment below.
Yeah, like, Cycling was on it. Oh, okay, thanks. All right, Cycling, what's your number 65 movie of all time, just ahead of Rocky?
It is 1995's crime drama Heat with
Wow.
Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, John Voight, Val Kilmer. So, okay, Jeff, you know this. There's a joke from Jim Gaffigan that I always think about this movie. This is one of the reasons why I watch this movie. Jim Gaffigan has a bit where he's like talking about how there's movies in the past that you've never seen that are really famous, and you're like, you want to just talk about because you just saw it. So he was like, hey guys, I just saw Heat.
It's like 10 years
Yeah,
old.
that came out 20 years ago. Yeah, but I want to talk about it now. Like, this movie inherently, whenever you see it, is something you're like, you want to look around the room and hope someone else feels the same way you do and wants to talk about. And I only watched this probably about 5 years ago for the first time, even though it is a almost 30-year-old movie. And and honestly, if I had probably had given it a chance earlier on in my life or grown up with it, it probably would be much higher on my list. This movie is incredible. I don't want to give too much away because I don't think it is watched enough. And so anyone
I don't think
listening,
I've seen Heat, dude. I hate to say it.
Dude,
I've never
honestly,
seen Heat.
we all need to watch Heat. It's one of probably the greatest crime dramas ever. Like, I mean, there's only a few crime dramas ahead of this on my list because
Val Kilmer, 1995, and Ashley Judd, sold.
Dude, like the way I revised my like top 100 list was based on genre, and then I combined all the genres together. There's only a few movies above this in this category. And again, I'm saying this from the standpoint that I only revisited this a few years ago. And I really think if I had watched this in college or even earlier, this would be much higher and maybe deservedly much higher because I should have probably been on my fourth or fifth rewatch of this movie. The movie inherently deserves your attention. This is not a movie you need to be on your phone for, even casually texting your friends. This is a movie you should have watched in theaters. To be truly appreciative of what it's doing, this is better suited for that environment. It is not a movie that meant to be in a generation where people are distracted. Have you seen Seven? Everyone's seen Seven. Seven is very high on my list. This is kind of like you need to be. This is more thriller-esque than Seven, but it has a lot going on. The character development in this movie, the Al Pacino scenes, Robert De Niro scenes, Val Kilmer, everyone is just so invigorating. You're just like amped up almost the whole movie. You're just feeling like adrenaline. Again, because I want you guys to see it, I'm not going to give anything else away.
Is there a twist?
Arguably, this movie should be higher. Yeah, there is.
So I had heard talk of a Heat sequel from Michael Mann, the director, and I'm not going to read the article, but it said, like, just because it'll take too long, not at any point. But Michael Mann apparently wrote a sequel prequel novel, and he says he is adapting it. So
really,
I don't know.
I don't know how you get some of this cast back. I don't think you can.
No.
I mean, literally speaking, I don't know how you can, but it's just I just don't feel like we get these kind of movies again anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not saying this like an old curmudgeon.
I think it's because we don't. Yeah.
We literally just do not get these kind of movies. We talked about sports movies earlier. These pure crime drama movies that like maybe come around every couple of years. I don't know. Like we need more of this kind of stuff in Hollywood.
Heat's on Hulu, so easy to watch.
Wow.
Hulu.
I think this is something the pod would be. I think you guys should all watch it. We should all do a commentary. Or
I mean, I love De Niro,
be pretty
Pacino,
fun.
like every fucking movie they're in. So
Yeah,
I've heard of this movie. I just never watched it because I guess I heard that it wasn't like good. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know who told you that.
Prime for sure.
Because that's insane. Like, no, this movie, like, I don't know
Maybe
how you can't like this
maybe they were
movie.
talking about Righteous Kill. Was that one that they're both
Oh,
in?
yeah. No. Righteous Kill, the one they, like, just bullshitted just to get De Niro and Al Pacino together one more time. No. Heat is like, dude, I'm telling you, that Jeff, that Jim Gaffigan joke will hit 10 times harder after you've seen it because you're like, I need to talk to someone right now about this film. You're like,
I'll fuck with
okay.
it.
Yeah, I'll check it out too. What's the runtime we got on this bad bitch? Does it say?
It's pretty long, from what I remember.
I'll find it.
Yeah, it was almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, well, I can make it happen maybe this weekend. Nice. All right, Geiger, your last one of the night.
I'm glad Cycly brought up a
number
boxing
64.
movie because this is way better than any Creed, and that is Southpaw.
Knew this.
Saw this in theaters. I like Gyllenhaal. I'm not like in love with him or anything, but after this movie, I was. Rachel McAdams is great in it. 50 Cent's great in it. Forrest Whitaker's great in it. I would say this matches up to any Rocky movie except the first or the second one to me. I think this is probably the third best boxing movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I know Jeff's seen it. I'm not sure about Cycly, but I was really wanting them to actually connect this and Creed. I would like for Creed to fight him. They're
fucking awesome.
I mean, it would make sense, especially because I was laughing at Creed 2 whenever the Russian was kicking his ass. I was like, of course he is. He's 50 fucking pounds heavier than him. Like, this is real
These
fighting.
people don't fight in real life.
Like, this doesn't fucking happen. Like, you don't just fight someone 50 pounds heavier than you. You get killed. I mean, the greatest boxer ever is probably Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard. They get killed by, like, the 50th heavyweight because one punch would kill them. And they're actually kind of the same size. If you think of Michael B. Jordan and Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie. But it's a great thing. Great plot. If you would have told me the plot, I'd been like, I don't know, that sounds a little too convenient. But great rags to riches comeback story. I really enjoyed it. The child actor, which we know is all very important, is fantastic in this. This is a great fucking film. And I think directed by Kurt Sutter, if I believe I'm correct. Let me look it up.
Dude, Fuqua did it. Who did Training Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Training Day?
Yeah, Antoine
Yes,
Fuqua.
that's right.
And
yes.
The Equalizer with Denzel.
Yes.
I'm surprised Denzel wasn't in this somewhere, to be honest. Like the Forrest Whitaker role.
Yeah. Great fucking film, though.
Yeah, this one is like really slept on, too, I feel like.
It is. And it's because they don't have 28 fucking sequels to it. It's a movie that'll just be forgotten. But it's one of the greatest boxing movies I've ever seen.
And Gyllenhaal just got in, the shape
like
you need
phenomenal shape for it.
Yeah. Nice one.
Eminem did a couple songs for it that are really good. The soundtrack's really good.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that is a good one. All right, I'll do mine and then Psycho will let you close us out. Mine is, I'm not sure if this will pop up on your guys' list, but the 2016 movie Deadpool.
Yeah, that'll pop up on mine.
I mean, changed the superhero genre for sure. This was before the Ryan Reynolds shtick was kind of like all he was known for doing. Two things. Number one, I think it showed that there are a lot of superhero IPs out there that you just need to adapt when someone has a specific vision for it and maybe not feel like there's a playbook or like a bunch of tropes for a superhero movie that you need to tie into and to adhere to. I think it is the funniest superhero movie. Like the laughs are genuinely like one per minute almost. And before TJ Miller went crazy, he is fucking hilarious. When Deadpool is talking to him and there's a scene where he says, "Who's that guy at the bar?" And TJ Miller says, "I don't know. Why don't you go over there and talk to him? It might further the plot."
Or he's like, "I want to help you, Wade, but I'd help you, Wade, but I just don't want to."
But I don't want to. Your face looks like Freddy Krueger face fucked a topographical map of Utah. What?
So good.
Also, the Deadpool puts the car lighter in the guy's mouth, and he goes, "I swear I've never said this before, but don't swallow." It's classic. And if you haven't seen Deadpool, go back and rewatch it because it will.
It's fantastic, and it has a really serious plot to it, but it doesn't really mess with the comedy at all.
I was going to say, it is kind of crazy how it balances like his origin story of like obviously dealing with cancer and everything, all the heaviness that comes with that, and it treats that appropriately. Like it does not make a jest of that subject matter, but the humor is inserted perfectly where it needs to be. And Deadpool 3 is going to be announced at D23 coming up. Kevin Feige has said they are making it in the MCU and rated R. He said we're not changing it at all. So we'll see how it works out, because those things seem counterintuitive, but
I don't think Disney can do that.
He said we're not
like literally.
Yeah. I'm sure Ryan Reynolds would not come back if they had the restraints on him. So
yeah,
be interesting.
Too busy pumping his tequila.
Hey, he's a soccer owner now too. So,
dude, we'll have to talk about this next pod. But have you seen the trailer for the reality show? With
it looks so good.
I'm so pumped for that. Welcome to Wrexham.
Third Division English soccer. Like, I'm like, yes, dude, give me all that shit.
Oh, I'm so pumped for that. All right, last one of the night. Cycling. What is your number 64 movie just ahead?
This goes back to the origin when earlier in the pod where you were like explaining what we're doing here. I just went from Rocky to Heat. And Jeff, only you will appreciate this. 2011's Jason Segel's The Muppets.
When you said I'll appreciate this, I knew The Muppets was coming.
Yeah. And I will say this is not my top Muppet movie. I have two other Muppet movies
I have two coming up also. Nice.
Yes. So, but I will say, why is this movie ahead of Heat and Rocky?
And Apocalypse.
Apocalypse, a lot of other movies. The thing is, I was raised on the Muppets. Like this, I came from a family that just genuinely appreciated the arts and satirical comedy, and that is the Muppets. And so, for me, being raised on the Muppets, I appreciate that there was a downtime, probably starting in the mid 2000s, maybe early mid 2000s. Like 2003 was when Treasure Island, I think, came out.
Sounds right.
I'm not sure exactly on that date. But around that time, the Muppets kind of like dwindled and almost disappeared. And Jason Segel, who we can talk about what Jason Segel's become in modern times, but Jeff, you and I are massive How I Met Your Mother heads. We absolutely love I Love You, Man, and a couple other films that Jason.
He's good
Segel's
in like Knocked Up and A Bit Role and a bunch of other.
Dude,
things.
I mean, like Jason Segel has been not just a comedic actor, he's been a brilliant writer. Like he really has been a part of so many things. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I mean, that's
coming up on my list.
Yeah, it just kind of bums you out when you think of his potential and what's been going on the last 5 years. But anyway, all that to say, he brought back the element of what the Muppets truly was. The Muppets was almost a dead franchise, undeservedly so. And Disney, when they bought the rights from Jim Henson's company, like didn't know what to do with the Muppets. And it took someone like Jason Segel, who was born and raised in a Muppets family-friendly household like I was, to bring it back. And this film, I mean, it was Amy Adams, Chris Cooper, Rashida Jones. I mean, you can go Jack Black,
Blunt in a great cameo.
Dude, think about the number of cameos in this, like the respect that so many people had for the Muppets to bring it back into modern society. I think was not just like it didn't meet expectations, it exceeded expectations. I think you would say the same, right? Like this movie.
Oh, definitely.
It had the musical elements of the Muppets. It had the satirical elements of the Muppets. It had the comedy. It had the seriousness. It had everything. The montage scenes.
The emotions of like them getting back together, knowing that like their best days are behind them, was really good.
Like it was. So this movie was symbolic to me, and you will appreciate this. This movie also means a lot to me because my wife, like. I don't know if you remember this. This was the night my wife and you met her for the first time. I watched this movie. I took her and brought her back home to my parents.
Oh, yeah.
And you and my family and my cousin were sitting in the living room with sunglasses on at 11 o'clock at night. And yeah. And I was like, I looked over to my wife, Robin Sparkles, and I was like, yeah, this is my family and my best friend Jeff. Like, this is that. And she's like, what's happening right now? I was like, just go with it. Like, I don't know, the Muppets to me represented my family. So it was like, I loved it. I will always appreciate this. And so, like I said, this is the lowest of Muppet films in my top 100. More to come.
That is what these lists are all about, man. Like your personal connection to a movie.
Yep.
And yeah, I was not a fan of Muppets Most Wanted, but I think that's because there was some magic here that Jason Segel's love. I think it's probably better that he didn't come back for a second one because it really was kind of lightning in a bottle that he had right here.
Yeah, it's the music. I mean, he brought back the music. It was the comedy. It was everything. I mean, like this film touched on what the Muppets was in the 70s and 80s.
Man, I need to go back and rewatch that. I'm sure they're all on Disney Plus, right? They have to.
Yeah,
be.
they are. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. All right, good shit tonight, fellas. Before we let the people go for episode 191, closing words of wisdom. Geiger, we'll go to you first. What do the people need to know?
I was driving the other day and I heard an emergency vehicle and Banner's, mouth just came into my ear. Not the first time, but I pulled over because that's what you're supposed to do.
Wait, have you not pulled over before?
For emergency vehicles. I mean, sometimes it's hard to know where they're going, and I try to hit the light. I mean,
yeah, we all have places.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way.
The Banner Force Ghost popped up on your dashboard, and he was like, "Pull over."
Told me to pull over, then asked me if I had any weed. I'm like, not on me, and he's just like, oh, and they just kind of floated away.
It is wild that when I hear an emergency vehicle now, the first thing I think of is Banner
with his shirt off,
right,
just like staring at me. Judging me.
Talking like Obi-Wan. You're going to pull over, aren't you? Why do you talk like Alec Guinness? That doesn't even make sense. Cycly, what is your advice for our listeners?
Speaking of driving, hey, if you're in the left lane, you're in the fast lane. So you better be passing cars on your right or get the fuck over.
The fuck going.
Hell yeah. I'm actually going to change mine this week. I normally say make smart decisions when you get your hair cut, and that's still applicable. But I've noticed a recurring trend the past few months that I just have to address. People, please respect lines. If you try to cut someone and then realize you got caught and you ask, oh, are you in line? Like, no, I'm just fucking hanging out in the middle of a Kroger with a shopping cart. Like, what do you think I'm doing?
Jeff, we just lost all of our French and Indian listeners. We're done.
Yeah.
How dare you?
We're not going to listen to this. It's a direct attack. Yeah, no one likes lines.
Yeah, and the English listeners left a long time ago, so who's left?
Oi, bruv, isn't it?
We still have the Native Americans because I spoke well about prey. So they're still
okay, yeah, the 2% of them that are still around.
Yeah. Awesome. But no one likes lines. So, like, no one is standing in a line because they enjoy it. It's just part of being in fucking society, guys. Figure it out.
That is true. Every time I see a long line, I'm like, fuck. I never get happy. I'm like, oh, I get to stand at the end of that.
Right.
My problem is I'm always, like, guys, I'm always in the back of the line. Like, when Harley, like, if I'm in the line and I've been in it for 10 minutes, I look behind me, no one's behind me. That's my problem. I'm like, oh, I could have shown up 10 minutes ago and I'd be in the exact same spot.
That's frustrating.
That's what sucks. For some reason, that is my curse.
Maybe something about you when they see you, they're like, well, this line isn't going to fucking go anywhere. That guy's in it.
How dare you?
It's like bad luck. He has a Toon Squad jersey on, doesn't even have the name of the player on the back.
I can't afford the naming rights, okay?
Yeah. All right, for our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli, our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Please follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. We're also on Instagram at that same handle. Type Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words into pretty much anywhere else. Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube. You'll find us there, and then everything we post is on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, this is Sparta.
Are the Toon Squad supposed to be like the Yankees, where they're not supposed to have a name on their jersey? You're supposed to know who they are?
Yeah. And have to shave also.
You play for the name in the front, not in the back.
And you have to shave, yeah.
The name on the front means a hell of a lot more than the one on the back.